Hey everyone, have you ever typed a command into the terminal, hit enter, and just crossed your fingers? Yeah, we've all been there. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of those super fundamental commands and demystify file ownership. We're going to figure out exactly what's happening when you type chown. Let's get into it.
So it all starts with this one simple question. Who actually owns the files on your computer? And you're probably thinking, well, I do, obviously. And you're not wrong, but your computer needs to know that in a very, very specific way. And that's the core idea we're going to unpack today. To get our heads around this, let's start with a really simple concept. Just forget about code and commands for a sec, and just think about how you'd organize anything. It turns out every single file on your system has this special little tag on it. The best way to picture it is like a name tag, the kind you get at a conference. Every file in every folder has one of these little virtual tags stuck right on it. And it tells the system two things: who it belongs to and what team they're on. Okay, so the first part of that name tag is the owner. This is the specific user account that has the main control over the file. You can think of this as the person's name written in big, bold letters. They're the one who gets to decide what happens to it. And the second part of that tag, that's the group. This is kind of like the department or the team name that's written right under the owner's name. It's just a handy way to give a whole bunch of users, not just one person, shared permissions to use or change a file. Let's make this real with an example. Okay, we've got a file here, homework.txt. The name tag on it clearly says the owner is Sarah and the group is students. This probably means Sarah has full control, but maybe anyone in that students group has permission to, say, read it. Makes sense, right? So if every single file has these tags, you've got to be able to change them, right? Of course. And that's where a couple of really powerful commands come into play. And this brings us to the command of the hour, chown, which is just short for change owner. Take a look at this. The command chown Sarah, homework.txt, does exactly what it sounds like. Before, the file was owned by the system's main user, root. After we run the command, boom, the owner tag now says Sarah. But what if you like who the owner is, and you just want to change the team the file belongs to? Well, for that, there's a specific tool called chgrp, short for, you guessed it, change group. This lets you be way more precise. Let's say you've got this file, photo.jpg. By running chgroup family photo.jpg, you're not changing who owns the photo, you're just swapping its group tag over to family. And now, just like that, everyone you've put in that group can see it. Now, you might have noticed that little word in front of those commands we ran, sudo. That is not just for decoration, my friends. It is the absolute key to making any of this work. It's how we borrowed the system's superpowers. And this is a question that everyone asks when they're starting out. Why the extra step? Why can't I just change the owner of any file I feel like? Well, it all comes down to security and, preventing total chaos on your computer. The reason is actually pretty simple. You can only give away stuff that's already yours. So to change the owner of a file that doesn't belong to you, like that file owned by root from a minute ago, you need to temporarily become the most powerful user on the entire system, the super user. And that's exactly what sudo does. This quote right here really nails the logic. Just think about it in the real world, right? You can give your friend your own book, no problem at all, but you can't just walk up to a total stranger and give their book to your friend. The system works the exact same way, just to protect everybody's files. Okay, enough with the theory. Let's see how this all clicks together in a fun, practical example. This is where you really see why knowing this stuff is so useful. So here's the situation. Sarah downloads a cool new game, Super Mario. By default, the owner is Sarah, and the group is also Sarah. But here's the problem. All of her friends are in a special games group, and right now, they can't access the file to play. So what's the fix? Well, Sarah can use chown, but with a really clever trick. See that little colon right before the word games? That one character tells chown, hey, leave the owner alone. I only want you to change the group tag. So the full command is sudo chown :games Super Mario. And here is the payoff. The command runs, the file's group tag is instantly updated from Sarah to games, and just like that, everyone in the games group can now launch the program. Problem solved. Game on. So there you have it. You now know how to change a file's owner and its group, and you know why you have to borrow those superpowers with sudo to get it done. But that, of course, leads to a much bigger question. With great power comes great responsibility. How do you actually use those superpowers safely? Well, we'll get into that in our next explainer.